Today, I want to tell you a story about how I went from dreading and avoiding hills to loving and embracing the challenge of hills. So, I started out riding with the Sky Velo, and they had a ride called the Surrey Three Hills. And in this video, you'll see two of those three hills. This one first is Staple Lane, and the other one, Croc North. The third hill is Box Hill, which I have in other videos, and I'll link those below. So if you want to see the third hill, you can watch those. But these are the first two hills, and that's the order they go in. So Staple Lane, then Croc North, then Box Hill. And I used to avoid this ride with Sky Velo, the club I ride with, because I was terrified I'd embarrass myself or not make it up the hill or whatever. I just avoided hills generally at that time. So I would go on this ride eventually with Nathan and on my own, but never in the group rides. And what sort of got me over that was a couple of things. One, cycling across Canada, because there's 3 mountain ranges I had to get over to get across. 2 in the west coast and 1 in the eastern part of Canada, as well as there were many country lanes that we took that just went up and down, to go up, literally to go down and go up again. So that kind of climbing I don't enjoy, but I can do it. And the thing with hill climbing that I really think you need to remember when you're new is don't expect to go fast. And know that if you're with a group, the group will wait for you at the top. So I think that's one thing I didn't realize. When it comes to the bigger hills or the steeper hills, everybody just kind of does their own thing, goes at their own pace, attacks it in their own way, because you have different strengths, you have different gearing on your bike, and that all makes a difference as to how you're going to go up a hill. And I'll talk later about how I approach a hill. But as you can see, just at the beginning of this hill, GoPro actually makes hills look flatter than they are. If you've ever done a GoPro video on your bike, frustratingly, you know they never look as steep as they really are in real life or how they feel on your legs. And this hill starts off at a pretty good grade. I like, a grade 5, 6, 7. I'm quite happy to sit in and pedal along for hours at that type of grade. It's when it starts getting into the double digits, I can go for a while. When it starts hitting the high teens, that's a struggle. And when it starts hitting the 20s, then that's the, dig deep time. But these hills, none of the hills on this 3 hills ride hit that kind of level. They hit the mid-teens. I believe Croc North hits the mid-teens in the grade. So you'll see that. And what I'll do is also I'll link below in the description, I'll link to the Strava posting of this route. So if you want to download the route and try it yourself, it's a great little route. It starts in Richmond Park. I believe it's about 75 or 80K and has just under 1,000 meters of climbing. So it's a nice overall ride. It gets you some climbing and some distance, and it's a good ride. So I really recommend it. And also after Box Hill, before the ride back home, there's the cafe at the top of Box Hill, and there's another cafe further along, probably about 2 or 3 kilometers down the road from the official Box Hill cafe. And I think it's called Destination Bike. It's a bike shop, and I highly recommend popping in there. Their cakes are quite good, and their coffee is decent. The coffee at the top of Box Hill is absolutely rubbish. So it's a great spot to stop, and there's hundreds of cyclists, but the coffee is rubbish. So anyway, back to Staple Lane here. As you can see, it's quite a wide open road. It's decently wide, so you don't have to worry too much about things coming in the other direction. It starts off at quite a good grade, and then it steepens up as you get closer to the top. And as you can see here, my heart rate is quite high, and as I've mentioned in other videos, I ride with a very high heart rate. And so, although Nathan forgets occasionally, I don't like talking going uphill because it's a struggle to talk. When my heart rate hits this stage here at 175 and above, speaking is very low on the list of things I want to do, because I'm trying to keep it under control, my breathing under control, so it doesn't get worse, because hills generally, most of them tend to kick at the end, so I need to save a little bit for the end as far as keeping everything under control. So as a beginner, one thing to remember is speed. Don't expect to go fast uphill. You can see here, this is why I have all my stats here for you to see. I'm not going fast. Even like now, the grade's down to 3. I'm still keeping around 11, getting my breathing and heart rate back under control, ready for the next kick, because there'll be just up ahead, you can see it. There's a last little kick here before the end. So I'm just keeping everything under control and keeping things steady. And that's how I attack my hills. I make sure I understand a little bit about the profile ahead of time if I can. Nathan is actually really good at, he keeps the profile on his garment. He'll warn me there's a kick at the top, or, you know, it goes on for a while like this. So my understanding the profile of the hill is helpful because it helps me pace myself. And so as a beginner, my biggest recommendation to you is don't go out at the beginning and try to keep your speed up. Pace yourself at the beginning, especially if you're not sure about the hill, and take it easy and save a little bit because, like I said, hills tend to kick at the top. So you're going to see the grades start kicking up again here, and your legs are getting tired as you get to the top, so you want to make sure you have something left that you can dig down and get yourself up and over the top of the hill. And what happens in group rides is that people wait for each other at the top of the hill, and everyone attacks it, like I said, at their own pace and their own skills and their own strengths, and then waits for each other at the top of the hill. So once I knew that and I didn't have to worry I'd be slowing people down or have to talk going uphill, I was much more keen to go out on group rides that included hills, and I didn't shy away from them quite so much. And this hill here, Staple Lane, once you get to the top, it flattens out for a while, but then it starts becoming a hill again. So the top of the hill is really truly at the junction. A lot of people stop here and wait for each other. As you can see up ahead, people are waiting for their friends to get up because that's the worst part of the hill. The rest of the hill is quite a gradual run up to the junction. So yeah, it's quite a lovely hill. It's very wide open on a sunny day. It can be very hot coming up that hill. And actually, as you can see, I'll just mention, Nathan saw me get the old saddlebag out the other day for the video I did for you guys. And he decided, I'll take that out today. I won't put anything in my pockets, you know, just some food. And I'm going to stuff it all in the saddlebag. And so you'll see he's got the ginormous saddlebag out that day. Yeah, so it's still going to good use, that bag. Anyway, so as we come up to the top, it becomes more forested here. It's a lovely ride. There's a lot of bluebells in these forests, so this time of year it's a good ride if you want to go out and get some beautiful pictures of the bluebells. My goal at the minute as I'm training for the Vaterundan is actually to keep my heart rate out of zone 4, which means below 155. And going uphill, it's pretty much nearly impossible. But as far as the rest of my rides, or the rest of the parts of my rides, I try to keep it, rather than trying to keep a certain speed, I try to keep my heart rate in that zone, just because I ride with a very high heart rate and I'm going for endurance and distance, and I just want to see if I put less stress on the heart rate, that if it makes a longer ride easier for me or not. It's just a bit of an experiment I'm doing. And if anyone out there has an opinion on that, let me know, or anything you've read about it. It's just a thing for me because that's one of my, that's the way my body is. It just always has a very high heart rate. I never get the burning in the legs, the lactate acid, even at the 23% hills in Surrey. It's the heart. I'm just absolutely gasping for air by the time I get to the top, but the muscles, they're still working their way up the hill. I don't know if it's, in some ways it's nice. I don't have to feel the burn that way, but I feel the burn in my lungs very much. From here, there's some distance before the next hill, which is good because your legs get a chance to spin out a bit. And when you come up to Croc North, and I'll talk about that hill. So this hill, compared to the other one, is a longish hill, and it's even before this is a steady, long. It peaks a little bit here and there, and then that's it. There's nothing crazy number-wise. It's a very good beginner hill, actually. Really recommend it. And my thing about the hills is, if you're a beginner, so I've given you some tips about pacing yourself, but also mentally, think about what the worst thing that can happen is. You'll stop. You'll push your bike up maybe, or you'll stop and you'll rest and you'll continue. I think that's really the worst thing that's going to happen. And yeah, you don't want to push your bike, but if you attack it wrong and you burn out, next time you come back, you've learned from that and you can try it again and you can feel the satisfaction of succeeding up a hill. And if you just avoid them all the time, you won't build that strength and you won't build that confidence. And it will limit the riding you can do because it will limit the roads you can go down. And honestly, in the Pyrenees, the views were stunning. So I really, really enjoy hill climbing now so much. And it's so rewarding. And for me, it's the views. For Nathan, it's the challenge in getting it up it fast or going up a hill in the Pyrenees that the pros have cycled up. For me, it's the joy of the scenery and the views at the top. And even now, I couldn't say this before, but the joy of the descent. So in Surrey, the hills are very narrow. Sometimes there's potholes, sometimes there's gravel and dirt all over the roads that make them a bit dodgy. So I just go down them at a pace I'm more comfortable with. And I have always liked going up the Surrey hills better than down them because they're narrow. Like I said, you can't see what's coming up and there's just a lot to be aware of. So I just go slowly down them however I'm comfortable. So that's my other little tip for you. And so, yeah, as we come up to the second hill, which is a quite different hill than the first one, it's called Crochnorth, and on this ride, even I forgot. So you come onto it, it's quite a sharp turn, and it starts off nice and steady. It looks all right. I remember with this hill is that it's sharp but short, but I forgot how sharp. And what happens is, and a lot of people, this happens too, you're going up this bit, you can see it's a 5-6 grade, your legs start getting used to it, and you're like, okay, yeah, it's fine. Then my heart rate starts picking up, but I have to remember it does get sharper. So I'll back off on the speed, and you'll see Nathan, he kept with me on the other hill. On this hill, he is in the mood to go for it, so he takes off and does his thing, and that's what hills are all about, really. So, don't worry about it. That's just people ride up hills differently and have different strengths. Nathan's a very strong rider, and, he wanted to push himself on this hill, so he went for it. But what I was going to say is you come around the bend on this hill and you see how steep it is, and you remember, oh yeah, this one's the one that, spikes up right at the beginning and becomes quite sharp. And you'll see, like I was saying, the worst thing that really can happen is you'll have to stop, or you'll maybe stop and start again or rest. So you'll see this person here doing a U-turn, perhaps bailing when he saw the steepness, because like I said, you don't realize it till you come around this bend how steep this hill really is. And then I'm not sure if they're cycling together or not, but this man here pushing his bike up, and I think he goes in here and he may attempt to start again as well. So there's two examples. They didn't make it. They came around the bend, perhaps were surprised, were in the wrong gear, and either tried again or went another way. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but give it a try. I really think you'll enjoy the rewards that hill climbing can give. They're hard work, but they're fun, and they come with rewards that are worth it in my mind. And as you can see, it's hitting 11% now, and I think it hits 12, 13. My speed's going down to 8. My heart rate's going up. 182 is supposedly my max heart rate based on the age calculation that you can do. And so I'm trying to keep my breathing under control because I know this goes on. And you can see me wiggling the bike back and forth. And I'll stand for a little while. I prefer to sit. My strength is in sitting when I ride uphill, so I prefer to stay seated and stand only to give a little bit of rest to some tired muscles. And my legs right now are in springtime condition. I'm not doing any weight training right now, and I haven't done a lot of hill climbing at this point in the season, so I'm still gaining my strength. So this is a good workout for them. And with Crochnorth, the one nice thing is when you see that bridge, that's the light at the end of the tunnel, and if you can make it to that bridge and hold that, 11% for a little longer, it starts flattening out and going down to more reasonable 6-7% grades. And when you go for a reasonable amount of time at a higher grade, 4 and 5% start to feel a little bit flat. So they seem easier than they do before you do a hill with a kick in it like that. So you get to this hill and you've made it. You can do the rest. It will start, calming down the hill. And you'll see Nathan's waiting. He's snacking at the top waiting for me. And I'll go past him and he'll be like, "What are you doing?" And I go past him because I used to stop and turn in at the cafe at Box Hill before the end of the segment. I used to miss the end of the segment every time, and it looked like it took me an hour to go up Box Hill, but really it was a cafe stop plus Box Hill. And so I'm super paranoid. I'm not super competitive on Strava, but if 10 more feet puts me at the end of the segment and I'm going to stop and have a rest, then I want to get the whole segment in. So I continue past him to his surprise. And yes, there's a little driveway I turn into. We have a rest, we have a snack, and then we continue on. It's a nice little ride through Ranmore Common after that, and then hit Box Hill. And Box Hill is a lovely hill. It's got quite a steady, nice low grade the whole way up with the switchbacks, and the road is smooth, and cars expect cyclists to be there generally, so none of them are going fast, and they're reasonably respectful. And even on a busy day with a lot of cyclists, it's just a really nice hill. I keep meaning to go down there and doing hill reps on it, just because I find Box Hill such an enjoyable hill to go up. I think I've only gone down it once as well, so I really recommend giving Box Hill a try, especially if you're new at hill climbing. It's such an enjoyable hill that is so steady that you can, learn to pace yourself and see what your legs will do. And it's once you learn those things that you gain your confidence and try harder hills. So yeah, all I can say is give hills a try. They're worth the rewards, and you'll grow your confidence as a cyclist a lot.